Good morning. This morning I'm going to talk about droppers and bus bars. That is a bus bar, and here is a piece of track with two droppers. On this one they're PL80s, or you could solder the wires on, whichever you choose to do. With a bus bar you have a power supply going in and power leads coming out, and on this one they're listed BC, DC, and you have red, black, red, black, red, black, and you have a red, black from the transformer going to the bar. That's a light bus bar, but they're all exactly the same bus bars in how they work. And I'll try and explain the reasons why model railway enthusiasts use them and the need for them. And I'm going to start on the board and the effects rather than trying to make things complicated. I'm going to talk about why in analogue and why in digital. Okay, a person using analogue may put, I haven't, but may put wires there, wires there, wires there in between points, and the reason they do it is points with age, they get dirty, and it ensures a constant supply of power. I haven't done it, but that is one of the reasons we'll show you. So if you can bring the loco in a little bit faster, and you'll see I'll flick the point at the top and it will stop. So what I've done is this point over here, if you're watching it on a widescreen TV you'll see the detail, but this point here, see, my power is way over the other side of the track. I haven't put any bus bars or any other wires going down. So that's why somebody may do it in analogue, because they want to make sure there's a constant supply of power. The only problem they have is if they put electrical wires down here and there isn't an off switch, and it's connected to the same transformer, and you've got another loco in that siding over there, you move that one round, that's going to move as well, which isn't helpful. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts, but people do it for that reason. Now, where you have a layout of this sort of size, and you've seen loads of videos, so I don't need to, you do have wires around the track. It ensures a constant flow of power and good quality power. In analogue, I've got 4 at each top of each track, and that's the reason you would have a bus bar. If somebody's going to run a siding, say, on its own, you're not going to have a bus bar, you're just going to put power to it, and you're going to have it going to another controller. Now it gets a bit more complicated here, because with my track I run digital and analogue. And I have to have isolators, which are PL11s, where I've got crossovers, because what happens is, even if you've got interlock points, which all mine are, the power will bleed and blow up your analogue transformers. So I've got droppers there, you can't see them, they're PL11s, they're hidden with the ballast. And I've got droppers there, I've got more power leads there, going to a digital and analogue controller with an on-off switch. So you will have droppers there where you have isolators, where you wish to isolate power so it doesn't bleed through. And that's on points crossovers. All my points crossovers have got PL11s and I've got droppers, so that I can have the power going there and it doesn't bleed through. And that's basically it really. It's just for a more efficient power supply, or if you want to operate a siding. However, it's not, it may be a dropper or a power supply, whichever you wish to call it. But if you're just connecting another transformer to another piece of track, then you're going to probably have a nice, you're going to have a nice, like in analogue you don't need an isolator there anyway, so that's just slightly different. Anyway, I'll talk about digital and why droppers are important. Here is a Pico PL11 track isolator fish plate. I'm showing this because hidden amongst my weathering and ballast it's difficult to see, and they come on a plastic bar like this. There are other ways of isolating track. This is what I use, and I hope this has been helpful seeing it, how they come and exactly what they look like. Thank you. Right, explaining in digital why you would have droppers is the most simplest of the lot. You see here this loco, give it a toot. Right, so you've got a station, you want a realistic scene, and you've got a load of digital locos in line. You've probably seen them at model railway exhibitions. They will have droppers all the way along here. Because the thing with digital is you're powering the whole of the track. So if you suddenly decide you want to bring another loco out, change the point, you've lost it. And of course, nothing will move in digital unless you make it move. So you put power to the track of an analogue locomotive, everything will move. But with digital, you can have the power going to all the locos and they will only move if you want them to. That's why it's a more interactive experience. So if you've got droppers all the way down here, going to a bus bar, then the power supply from the digital controller going to this bus bar, you can power all these tracks at the same time, no matter where your points are. So if that was digital and that was digital and that was digital, you can run them all and you can have all the sounds. So you can make your station come alive, which gives you that interactive experience. And that's why droppers and bus bars are very popular on digital layouts, because you just could not run it realistically with a power supply like I have, sitting, well, it sits further up, you can't see it, but a power supply sitting in one place, because as soon as you change the point, you've lost the power supply and the engine will stop. And that is the reason that droppers are very popular with digital railways, because they work. People aren't being fancy, they're not being flash. It's basically to make it run, you've got to power everything up. Anyway, I hope that's explained it really simply. Thank you. Okay, here is a bus bar. Now you can see the black and red wires coming out. They're on the bus bar. Now you use a bus bar because there's no loss of power. Every power lead gets the same power. Now in the background here, these are the power wires, and it's going back to another bus bar. So basically, you have the power leads going into the front or the back of the bus bar, and then you have all the spurs going off. Now in this case, it's model railway lights. But the bus bar theory is exactly the same for power. And of course, if you want to add another bus bar, you can there. So basically, if you're powering up a track, you have a bus bar with all the droppers going into the slots, and then you have the power from the digital controller going into the back of the bus bar, and that lights up all your track. Thank you. Now I'm going to try and show this smoothly. Just behind the back of this point is one of my droppers, a PL80, Pico PL80 fish plate. And I come down slowly, and there you can see the electrical wire coming down. And that's a dropper. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has been of help.